So hello everyone, welcome to EduTap, and guys, welcome to your other important session of Top PIB in News, in which we are discussing the important topics that are relevant for our examination of RBI NABARD, and both for your phase 1 and phase 2, catering to our subject of economic and social issues. So guys, today's date I will be covering the important topics from 23rd to 25th of June. Then guys, if you are new to our YouTube channel, kindly subscribe to the channel so that you could get all the latest updates about the examination. And then to get the access of the PDF, guys, kindly subscribe to the Telegram channel, the link for which is given in the description below. Then guys, how we are helping you? So we are providing you a daily exam booster series by the lecture of general awareness by Ritika Rehal ma'am, then reports and indices lecture taken by Devanshu sir, and I am taking the lecture of ESA current affairs on Wednesday and Saturday at 8 am. Then guys, talking about our revision masters, so Mr. Shobit and Anjali, they both have given the answer about the theme of the World Sickle Cell Day that I have asked in the previous session. Then guys, the topics of the day, very important topics. The first one is the consumer protection e-commerce rules for 2020, because some amendments has been proposed, so we'll be discussing what is the rule all about, what are the amendments that have been proposed, why this act has come about. So everything I will discuss with you. Then is the Toycathon for 2021, which has recently been addressed by the Prime Minister. We'll be discussing about that specific thing. Then the last important is guys, the UN high level dialogue on energy for 2021, which is a very important dialogue which has not taken place. It will be taking place in the month of September, but some initiatives have been announced by India. We will be discussing about that in detail. Now, the first important thing is the proposed amendments to the consumer protection e-commerce rules for 2020. So guys, when I talk about the rules were released that is, they were approved by the cabinet in the month of July 2020 in the previous year. Now, before talking about the amendments, first of all, we should know what this bill is all about. So when I talk about the bill, guys, the bill's applicability is to about all retailers who are registered in India or abroad, but those companies who are registered abroad but are offering their goods and services in India, they will also come under the consumer protection rule. Which I give you an example is Amazon. So Amazon is the prime example of this, because Amazon is a company of USA, but it is being selling their products in India, so the rules will be applicable to Amazon also. Now when I talk about e-commerce rules, so the government has provided that the detailing, what are the important provisions should be there. First of all, the country of origin. Most important thing when we look at the online products are, they did not mention the country of origin. So the rule specifies that there should be mandatory display of the country of origin of the product, from where the product is being imported or is being manufactured, because we generally see that Chinese products are being sold there instead of the original products. So country of origin. Then the total price of good has to be displayed there. Total price of goods and services which are offered for sale, the total price should be displayed there, including the other charges like GST, other charges that should be included there. Then about the sale products that are being sold, the proper expiry date of that good should also be mentioned there, guys. Sometimes what generally used to happen is, the goods are sold but they are expired in nature, so the expiry date of the product has to be mentioned there. Then the details about the return, refund, exchange, anything when we talk about the e-commerce sites are that how we have to return the product, how I will get my refund, what are the procedures of exchange of good. So everything has to be specified. Then no manipulation of price. So it can be related here also, that is total price, which simply means there should be no manipulation of the price. Then no cancellation charges. This is one of the most important provision of the rule, was that no cancellation charges should be taken from the customer. The reason that has been given by the government is, if the product has not been taken by the customer, then how could you charge a cancellation fees? So no cancellation charges will be there. Then about all the available payment methods through which the site will be getting the payment, the proper information should be provided, and they should also provide the information about the sellers who are offering the goods and services. So country of origin as well as the information about sellers should be provided. Then if any kind of violation is there, the person would be penalized under the Consumer Protection Act of 2019, that was again passed in the year 2000 20. So I will be discussing about the act in detail with you also. Now we have discussed about the brief of these rules. Now let us see what are the amendments. Now for us the important is why we need this amendment. Why these amendments are needed. So guys, there were some complaints that have been given to the Ministry of Consumer Affairs. They said that sometimes there is a provision that how we have to seek the redressal, how we have to come across the authorities, how we have to deal with these e-commerce companies. For that specific thing, the price has been manipulated by the e-commerce companies. Domestic traders are not feeling secure. They are also sharing some data with this with the ministry. For that purpose, now ministry has proposed some amendments. If I talk about these amendments, the first and the foremost amendment is about the Consumer Protection Act of 2019. The ministry proposed that there should be an appointment of Chief Compliance Officer, who will what he will do is he will be coordinating with all the law enforcement agencies on the 24/7 basis. That is coordination with the law enforcement agencies. Now for consumer purpose, it also says that there should be an appointment of resident grievance officer. Yes, resident grievance officer is for addressing the grievances of consumers, but for contracting the law enforcement agencies, there should be a chief compliance officer. That has been proposed. The third important proposal is about the framework. It specifies that there should be a framework for registration of every e-commerce company, which simply means we want a database for all e-commerce companies that should be registered with the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. It also specifies that when these companies got registered, they should be allotted a registration number, which shall be displayed on the website of, shall be displayed on that specific website. For example, let us say we got a registered number 21346 or 345. So that has to be displayed on my website whenever somebody is visiting my website. So that is also a great proposal. The main purpose is, guys, the government wants that there should be a transparency in the e-commerce market, because e-commerce market there is very much thing of misinterpretation also. So to close that thing, to curb that thing, government has proposed these amendments. The fourth amendment is about the fallback liability. Now what is the fallback liability? So fallback liability means if a seller has sold a good, but due to his negligence, the wrong product has been reached to the customer. For that purpose, the rule says that now the liability of the product should be with the seller. He should take the proper responsibility, and the e-commerce company should deal with that specific seller because he has sold the wrong product due to his negligence. For that purpose, the bill proposes that there should be a fallback liability for every marketplace e-commerce companies. For every e-commerce company or e-commerce site, those are the sellers who are registered there. There should be a provision of fallback liability which should occur on the seller of that specific good. Okay. Now the last important amendment that has been proposed is about the, guys, it simply says that e-commerce entities, now the thing that I have discussed, for fair price marketing between domestic and the imported goods. Now for that purpose, the bill proposes that the e-commerce entities who are offering the imported goods or services, they shall incorporate, it depends on that company. Now they says that they should incorporate a filter mechanism so that which could identify the goods based on the country of origin and suggest the fair opportunity to domestic goods, suggest a fair price to the domestic goods, so that the domestic goods should not suffer from the imported goods. Because you might feel that imported good is, let's say, is of rupees 30 and the domestic good is of rupees 50. So it is natural that most of the people will try to buy rupees 30 good. For that specific thing, the bill says to help the domestic manufacturers, it says there should be a firm mechanism to identify the goods based on the country of origin. Now guys, one of the most important thing in this news is the Consumer Protection Act of 2019. So this act we have to cover in detail because this act is also passed in the year 2020, and that is again very much important. Now let's discuss about the act. So what this act is all about? So it has replaced the Consumer Protection Act of 1986 and it empowers the customer. So this is the main motto of that act was more power to the customer. So how more power to the customer? How customer is provided more power? there have been specified provisions which have been specified under this act. First of all, consumer protection councils will be set up. There should be consumer dispute redressal commission. So consumer compliance commission we have discussed, consumer dispute redressal commission should be set up there. Then for mediation, alternative alternative AMR should be set up. Product liability will be there. There will be rules on e-commerce and direct selling that has been specified, based on which we have discussed the provisions. Okay, that has been set up under this specific act. And for penalty specific also, it has specified about the penalty. Now when I talk about the Central Consumer Protection Authority, what it simplifies is it will be established to promote, protect and enforce the rights of the consumers. That is, an authority will be set up. Under this authority, a dispute redressal commission will be set up, whose main function will be to conduct an investigation into violation of any act, then to recall the unsafe goods and services, discontinuance, help the people in discontinuing the unfair trade practices and misleading advertisement. Then it will also impose penalties. So penalties will be imposed by this Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission. But what are the types of penalties? What penalty will be imposed? That I will discuss within a few seconds with you. Now the other important thing is when I talk about this product liability. So product liability simplifies, guys, that what if there is a deterrence by manufacturer and service providers, if there is any kind of defect in providing the product, the liability should be of that specific manufacturer or service. So product liability provision has been created there, because most of the time what used to happen is the service agent, they sell you a good but they do not take back the good. They simply says that this was not our defect. For that purpose, the liability has now been given to that specific manufacturer or service provider who is selling you that product. That is product liability. Then for mediation purpose, alternate dispute resolution mechanisms will be set up. The purpose of them will be, that is, early settlement of the cases could be done there. Then the dispute resolutions, what they will be doing is, the dispute resolution processes, they will be set up at state and district level, the commissioner level, so which means the state and district commissions, now they can review their own orders. Then is the empowerment of consumer commission, they will enforce their orders. So the determined, which means the other important thing is the admissibility should be after 21 days of filing. So there is a deemed admissible, that means within 25 days of filing, the appeals have to be answered. Then about the provision of e-rules. So e-commerce rules I have discussed with you in detail. What will be the e-commerce rules? The very important thing here is acknowledging the receipt of any consumer complaint within 48 hours. Very, very important thing, guys. If you have filed any kind of complaint about any e-commerce site, that has to be acknowledged. That is, the receipt you should receive within 48 hours. Then when I talk about the penalty, it simplifies that the punishment could be up to suspension of license or up to 2 years. That is, suspension of license up to 2 years in case of first conviction, which means if for the first time you are convicted, your license could be suspended up to 2 years, but it could be cancelled for lifetime also if subsequent conviction is being registered against that specific e-commerce company. Now guys, I have discussed about the e-commerce rules. We have discussed about the Consumer Protection Act of 2019. Now for your interview purpose or for your answer writing purpose, one thing that could be asked is the difference between both the Act of 2019 and the Act of 1984. So for that purpose, I am also sharing a snippet with you that you could also use for your interview purpose, for your essay writing and for your descriptive paper. So you could have a look at the difference between the Act of 1986 and Act of 2019, which means about the regulator, consumer code, product liability, jurisdiction, e-commerce entities, because e-commerce entities have been included in the Act of 2019, they were not present in the 1986 Act, and the mediation cells. So how they could be done. Then guys, let's start with our second topic, that is about the Toycathon of 2021. Now when I talk about this Toycathon, various kind of challenges have taken place in some certain point of time. Now for us, the most important about the challenge is the organization of the challenge. So it is a multi-ministerial initiative which simplifies that it is being organized by various ministries. If I talk about the ministries, it includes Ministry of Education, Ministry of Child Development, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Ministry of Commerce, Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises and Ministry of Textile, which simplify to remember these ministries, guys, the important is when you see these toys, what are the ministries that you could relate with the toys? The first is because education purpose toys could be used. Then for child development, because children are the main attraction of the toys. So children, Ministry of Women and Child Development. Okay, information and broadcasting. They could also use these toys to promote their things. That is information and broadcasting. Commerce Ministry, so you also know Commerce Ministry on small and medium enterprise, because they will manufacture these toys. And Ministry of Textile, because soft toys are created with the textile industry. So that could also, that you could remember here. Now the other important thing here is, guys, when I talk about the Toycathon, is the focus of this Toycathon. We want that is an indigenous, that is innovation of toys should be there, but the most important thing is we want that the toys should be made at Indian, that is indigenous toys that should be made in India, which should be economically affordable, environment friendly, and they should provide the high quality, that is economically affordable, environment friendly, and it should be at the global standard. So these are the three prime focuses of this Toycathon. Guys, very important thing in this Toycathon was that the participants were divided into three tracks. When I talk about three tracks, so based on the age and the specification of the product, three tracks were set up under this Toycathon. So track 1 is regarding the school students, which are known as junior students or junior level. Track 2 is for the higher education students, that is the students up to the class 12th. So for that purpose, the higher education students, that is the second initiative. Then the last is the professional. Track 3 is relating to professional purpose, that is the startups of, or which are the professionals who are expert in toys. Now what they will be focusing on? The fair purpose is that when I talk about track 1, its prime focus will be on the toys that are relevant for the junior people, that is 3 to 4 years or 4 to 11 years, 4 to 10 years age of kids. For that purpose, the designing of toys for these age group will be the main focus of track 1. Then when I talk about track 2, its focus will be on developing the electronic sensor toys, or you could say artificial intelligence or augmented reality or virtual reality based toys, which means now higher, that is more than 11 to 12 years, children aged more than 11 to 12 years, they could use these kind of toys. We know na Xbox बच्चे खेलते हैं, तो these kind of toys usually children are playing. For that purpose, the track 2 will be there. And for the professionals, their prime focus is to design the toys for both generation, for 3 to years, 4 to 10 years, for the years above, using all the main focus technologies, but their main focus will be on enabling India, that is boosting up the production capacity of toys in India, and it should be on the quality level should be at the global standard, should match the global standard. Now very important thing, the winner will be getting the prize of rupees 50 lakh. And when I talk about team size, guys, this is again important for us. So there should be minimum 3 members in each team, and maximum can be 6 members, and the person who will be leading the team will be known as team leader. Now guys, the next important news about is this UN high level dialogue on energy 2021. Why I am saying this topic is important? It is relevant for our subject of sustainable development and environmental issues. The questions could be asked, because if you look at the previous year paper, the questions on the dialogue has been asked. They have asked a question on UNFCCC, or when I talk about the UNDP programs, the questions have been asked. Now when I talk about this Dialogue Energy Summit, the main purpose is it has not been conducted. It will take place in the month of September of 2021, and it will take place in New York. Why this high level energy dialogue is important, guys? When I talk about this, is it is the first time, yes, it is the first global gathering after the 1981 summit of new and renewable sources, which has taken place in Nairobi. After that, when the SDG goals have been set up, after that this will be the first global gathering on renewable energies. Now you should remember about the sustainable development goals also, because that could also be asked. And when I talk about energy, so SDG 7 focuses on the sustainable development goals which are related to energy. Now when I talk about the objective, the prime objective of this dialogue, so guys, you could have a basic look on this objective. I am sharing with you the snippet of the objectives, but you don't have to cram these objectives. I have discussed with you, focus will be on SDG 7, that is related to energy. Then The very important thing in this high level energy dialogue is the how it will take place is there will be some global themes that will be set up based on time to time, and the other important thing will be based on the global themes will be there will be global champions. So there will be some countries who will be named as global champions, and what they will do is, what these global champions they will do is, guys, these global champions will explain with you. These countries will come forward and they will share their plan that how they have achieved, how they have bettered these things. When I talk about the global themes, now at present, 5 global themes are there, but the United Nations says that this high level energy dialogue meeting committee says that there will be more dialogue. That is, there will be more themes will be created and more global champions will be created. When I talk about the first one, the first global theme is about the energy access. Now, what is this energy access? It simplifies the main focus of these theme countries or these champion countries will be to accelerate the action towards achieving universal access to electricity, clean energy, cooking, better cooking facility. That will be the main focus of energy access. So the countries here will be the China, European Union, Japan, Kenya. So these are the countries who will be treated as global champions on energy access. That is, they will be sharing their plans that what they will do. Now, second important, it will be the energy transition. That is, the countries who are transitioning themselves. For example, the countries who are focusing now, who are using the renewable energy targets, who are using the renewable energy or transforming their energy sector into the use of renewable energy. So here, the global champions consider of India also. That is, India is now, so that is why India is important. India has been placed under this category of energy transition along with Brazil, Colombia, Germany, Nigeria, Poland, because these countries are also important, guys. And when I talk about, when you look at the recent examination of RBI, they could simply ask you a question based on RBI, even in NABARD exam also, they could simply ask you that India is placed along with which of the following country under the energy transition theme of United Nations high level dialogue. So this kind of question could come in your examination. So we should know that India is placed along with Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Germany. So these countries you can have a look. The third theme is based on the innovation, technology and data. So guys, innovation technology I will be discussing with you. First of all, let's discuss the other themes. Then I will come in innovation technology also. That why this technology is important. The fourth one is about enabling SDGs. So why I am relating this thing is enabling SDGs simply means that what are the protective measures, what are the positive ways that by using SDGs, what positives could become. What positive if I talk about? Inclusive economy could be created, then jobs could be created. So what are the positives of sustainable development goals? That will be the prime focus of the global champions who will be under this enabling SDG theme. That are European Union, Iceland, Panama, Portugal. The last one will be about the finance and investment. Now let us discuss about this thing. So what are the innovation and technology things that we need? See, the countries are providing energy access. The countries will be transitioning themselves also, and they will also be telling you about the benefit of the sustainable development goals. But now to club them together for betterment of them, what we want is a technology, or let's say a database. For that purpose, innovation, technology and data will be there, under which the global champions are Finland, Mauritius, Morocco or Russia. Then for all this, what we want is investment. We need finance, we need money. For that purpose, the last theme will be on finance and investment, which includes the countries of Italy, Netherlands, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. That is how public and private investment should be promoted. That is, public and private investment should be promoted so that the sustainable development goals could be achieved. That is the purpose of this finance and investment theme. So all these themes are important, including with the global champions, because the question could be asked us there also. Now, the purpose for us is, what is India doing? Why this summit is in news, and what is the plan of India? So the plan has been shared by the government of India. Now what India will be doing is, first of all, India has said that India has specified about its target for 2030. India specifies that for the year 2030, it has now set up a target of 450 gigawatt, which was earlier 175 gigawatt by 2022, but now it has been enhanced to 450 gigawatt. Okay, that is one of the most important thing, because now this question could be asked, a direct question could be asked here. That is the target capacity 450 gigawatt. The second important thing is how we will be focusing the to achieve this renewable energy target. Our focus will be on solar energy, wind energy, bioenergy, green hydrogen energy, and international cooperations. Okay, through the International Solar Alliance. So, International Solar Alliance, we know it is a very prominent international organization which is being headquartered in India at Gurugram. So that is again important for us. International Solar Alliance, you should know about that also, where it is being headquartered. But who has developed this thing? India is the prime country. Along with which of the following country India started this initiative? That you should remember. Now when I talk about the focus here, so the focus is same. So if I talk about solar 170 gigawatt, so where solar energy was contributing 100 gigawatt, wind energy was contributing 60 gigawatt, bioenergy 10 gigawatt, and the micro hydro projects will be contributing 5 gigawatt of energy. So that is about the 170 gigawatt. But now the additional targets for 450 gigawatt will also be finalized. The other important thing during this summit, because India is a part of energy transition champions. So for that purpose, now India will be sharing its expertise, that how India is achieved, what India is doing. For that purpose, India will be organizing some specific events. Now when I talk about the events, the important event, the first that will be hosted is a ministerial thematic forum on energy transition will take place in the month of June under the global champions, along with the other champions that will be co-hosted by India. So we know all the global champions which will be hosting this event with India. The second thing that India will be hosting is accelerating citizen-centric energy transition. An event by the name of Accelerating Citizen-Centric Energy Transition will also be hosted by India. The third important event that India will be hosting is, it will be hosting a webinar on women in renewable energy and sustainability along with the International Solar Alliance. So these are the three prominent events that India will be hosting, in which India will be sharing how it is transforming its energy into renewable energy, what are the steps it is taking out, what are the targets it has been finalized. So that will be discussed in all these events. So guys, that brings us to the MCQs now, because we have discussed each and every topic in detail. Now let us see the first question. The first question is about the e-commerce rules. So where it is, what detail it will be providing. So we know all the details will be provided, that is refund related detail, delivery of shipment, modes of payment, and grievance redressal schemes. Now all details will be provided under this e-commerce rule that has to be provided by the e-commerce entity. Then the next question is, what are the things that has been proposed under the amendments? Here also all the things are right. That is appointment of chief compliance officer who will be coordinating with all the law enforcement agencies. Then is database has to be created under the DPIIT, and then resident grievance officer will also be set up, which will be redressing the grievances of the consumers. Then is guys a paragraph on Toycathon. So which of the following ministry has organized? So it is Ministry of Education. So not a Ministry of External Affairs, it is Ministry of Education, Ministry of Textiles, Ministry of Information and Technology, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting Agency. So that is the important ministry that is there, but neither Ministry of External Affairs, Ministry of Science and Technology, or Ministry of Sports are part of this Toycathon. Then guys, the fourth question is about the track 1. So track 1, we know they will be designing the toys which will be focusing on the student of age group of 0 to 3 years and 4 to 10 years. Then guys, the last question is about the Union Minister, that is Mr. R.K. Singh. So he has said that India is part of which of the following? The high level energy dialogue. India will be a global champion under energy transition. So that is the thing that has been discussed by the minister also. So guys, that brings us to the end of the session, and before ending the session, the homework for you will be, you have to tell me about the India's INDC, intended nationally determined contribution targets, in which India is saying what is the percentage of GDP it will be using for the environment, then how much renewable energy will be done, carbon neutralization. Each and every target you have to search, and you could tell me in the comment box. Then talking about the motivational quote of the day. So never do tomorrow what you can do today. because procrastination is the thief of time. So very, very important thought. Never say that I will do this work tomorrow. Try to complete that specific work on that day itself. Then guys, this brings us to the end of the session. If you are liking the session, kindly share the session with your friends also. And then for any kind of query, you could drop us an email. Our email ID is hello@edutab.co.in, or you could even place us a call. Our mobile number is 81462 07241. So I hope guys the lecture is fruitful for you. So keep learning. Bye bye.